everyone, and welcome to the Grid Slot Gavra Racing podcast. You're joined by Pierro62930, myself.
Me, Tiger Assassin.
And me, X90G.
And welcome to another week here at the podcast, episode 19. We do have Pierro on later on this week. We were meant to be live, but technical difficulties have occurred, so that will not be happening this week. My disappointment in Tiger's laptop is immeasurable. Moving on anyway, we're going to be kicking things straight off with Project Cars 2. In the Escort Cup then, taking place at Bannock Bray. I think that's right. It's that made-up track in Scotland they have in Project Cars 2. Anyway, Besser would take the pole on a 2-minute 35.5. ESR Chef would be in second, and Addo Champs would round out the top three with Jojo Power in fourth. In the race, however, ESR Chef would take the win after starting in second place by 36 seconds from Gil69. Kingpin would then round out the top three, and Besser, our pole position starter, finished down in eighth on the DNF. So obviously that track, a lot of elevation change, a lot of corners that tighten up out of nowhere seemingly, and has claimed the pole position sitter. In the championship then, that means that ESR Chef takes his seventh win in a row. Jojo Power with DNF still manages to hang on to second position, but has scored 0 points in this leg so far. Gil69 is in third, still on 105 points. Addo Champs is fourth on 103 points, and Dalavan in fifth on 88 points. It's definitely looking like the battle for second place, certainly, in that championship is really starting to hot up. Anyway, in the Master Series, which is at round 7 in Fuji, we had Dalavan on the pole with Javier Ranz second. So someone actually qualifying ahead of Javier Ranz. That's something we don't see very often. But Faster A14 in third. In fact, the top three all in the same tenth of a second. That's quite crazy, actually. As in the race, it'd be Dalavan who took the win, and from Javier Ranz, who started in second position, finishing in second position as well, and Aguilera in third, 17.3 seconds behind the next car. So anyway, that's going to bring to an end Project Cars 2 from this week. We're going to head straight on into our driver interview then. So this week we have a man who finished second in the Drivers' Championship last season in the Super League, is currently third even in this year's Super League. It's going to be the one and only Pierro. How you doing, Pierro? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. And you?
All right. So yeah, I'm also good. We're all good. So welcome to the podcast. So for our listeners who don't know lots about you, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself? So where you're from and what series you race in?
Yeah, so I am Pierro, and I am from France, and I am driving with AlphaTauri in the F1 Gavra Superleague.
Right, cool. So with 3 wins, 3 pole positions, and 19 podiums, you are now the most successful French driver in the Super League here at Gavra. I put in F1. That would be that would probably also not be true for F1 because of Alain Prost. But how much do these records mean to you?
Be the most successful French driver, nothing, because we are only 2.
That's a fair comment.
And no, 3 wins, 3 poles, and 19 podiums. That's great. What can I say? I didn't expect to have that much podiums. I hope to have more wins and poles in the future, but at the moment, it's good.
All right, so now 2 of those wins and 2 of those podiums, I believe, came in last season where you finished second in the championship. Were you pleased with that final finishing position, or were you hoping for a little bit more?
Oh no, last season was special because the season 2 was in 3 different groups, and last season we were all together, so we didn't know the level of everyone, and I was hoping for top 5, so definitely not hoping for finishing P2.
The championship on the final corner of like the last race because
for 10 meters.
The final 10 meters of the season. So
I don't know what he did.
I guess. Yeah, I don't think Tim knows what he did there, to be honest with you. So last season, do you think there was like a specific moment where the title was lost?
No. Well, I think for everyone last season it was quite obvious that Playdechi would have won, and he won with 3 races to go, I believe. So yeah, there was no surprise.
So I was looking through the standings from last season a couple of days ago, and I see those two disconnects in, I think, France and Austria. I think you're running in pretty good positions there. Do you think if you'd got those results, you could have provided a closer challenge for the season?
In fact, I did my first pole position in Gavra, and I disconnect just before the race.
Oh, that one sucks. That must suck.
Sounds like a natty move, to be honest.
It does sound like a natty internet move, to be honest with you. All right, so moving forward then, in this season, you've already exceeded your points total in the same span, so that being 6 or 7 races, and currently sit 25 points behind Dutchy, who is your teammate and championship leader. Do you think you can bring home the championship this year and we'll have our 4th or 5th different champion in the Super League?
Honestly, I don't know. I just focus on doing... well, my goal is to do podium at every race and see what the others do. But I think I will need some problem from Playdechi and team for win the championship. But it's not my target, to be honest. If I finish in the top 3, I will be happy.
All right, fair enough. So we have some new tracks this season in the Super League, looking at Japan in particular. Of the tracks that are yet to come, or the ones that have already been even, and Monaco even for that matter, which track
Zandvoort
has been your favourite so far? And Zandvoort, yes.
Zandvoort was good with the modern course. Well, you can go so fast through the corners, and Zandvoort is a great track for the new cars. So I would say Zandvoort.
Right, fair enough. I'm sure we'll be pleased with that answer. Recently you've become a part of the admin and stewards team. So how are you finding that side of things here at Gavra?
It's quite interesting. I can see everything. So that's good. And Gavra need 2 more stewards and admin, and he chose me and Team Green at the start of the season. And it's good, to not only focus on your race, but to focus on how to develop the community, and it's interesting. And now you're stewards too, I believe.
Yeah, like last week. Since last week.
So you join us.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's a good group to be in anyway. So, finally then, do you see yourself branching out from Formula 1 into other games in the near future? Maybe GT Sport or even Project Cars 2, or even Rocket League, which is happening in about an hour?
Yeah, no, GT Sport I don't think, because I don't have the game.
Okay.
I did the first season of Dutch Rally last season. That was good. And yeah, for Rocket League, I would like to join, but unfortunately at the moment it's only for Saturday nights, and I can't join. But maybe in the future I will.
All right, cool. So, Pierro, lovely to have you on, mate. Definitely one of the nicest guests we ever had on the podcast. If you would like to be involved on the podcast, the same way that Pierro was, just drop either one of us a message or leave a quick message in the Q&A chat in the Discord server, which Sig has also nicely provided for us. But anyway, Pierro, that's going to be it from us for this week in terms of the interview. Thanks for coming on. Hope to have you on again, and we'll see you later.
Bye. Thank you.
See ya.
That's it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Pierro. As I just said, if you want to be on the podcast in the same way that Pierro was, just let one of us know or tell us in the Discord chat. Also, our PSN and the Instagram links and Twitter stuff is all in the description down below. But we're going to press on then with our F1 theme straight into Formula One. From the lands of Belgium and Hungary this week, we bring you our Formula One action. So I'm going to take you through the academy and freshmen, and then Natty and Tig will be taking over for the other 2 championships, so that people don't get tired of listening to my voice. Well, hopefully you will like my voice, so Actually, let us know in the comments down below.
I don't.
My voice. Yes or no? Yeah, we know you don't. You don't matter.
I'm joking.
So, from the Ardennes Forest then, Academy round 7 in Spa, Rick Holt taking the pole and the top 5 being separated by less than a second. Mr. Schumacher and Aston would round out the top 3 as they so often do. In the race, a lightning start from Aston down into turn 1, getting past both of his championship rivals into the source being the first hairpin, so turn 1. The top 3 then went 3 wide into Malmedy, the right-hander at the end of the com sequence after the Kemmel straight. I think Aston got pushed onto the grass and fell back to about 5th, but he would then struggle through the field, being not on pace, definitely at the front 2, and struggling to get back through into 3rd position. Aston was then also held up in the pit lane by Rick Holt, the game placing both cars in the same pit box. That's just the way things work, unfortunately, with the multiplayer cars. Swip and JMB Surreal then had a coming together at Pouin. Rick Holt overcut Mr. Schumacher into the lead of the race. Schumacher on the last lap, though, got past Rick Holt at the bus stop, but Rick... let's talk about this. Incident, because I think Tiger, we were in the commentary box together, obviously, but it looked like Rick kind of just came in too much
Cut him
on
off.
Schumacher, yeah, and didn't really leave him a lot of room.
The door was firmly slammed in Mr. Schumacher's face.
Yeah, that's one way of putting it.
Yeah, no, it definitely was a controversial ending to that race. I mean, once again, Academy bringing out the best in terms of the sort of the racing and this in terms of the championship fight as well. I mean, there's 6 points now between Aston and Mr. Schumacher, and then there's like over 10 points, I think, something like that, between Mr. Schumacher and Rick Holt at the moment. But no, close battle, controversial ending. I mean, yeah, I think Rick Holt definitely should have given Mr. Schumacher a lot more room there.
Yeah, so Rick Holt did have that collision with Mr. Schumacher and went on to win the race. The stewards deciding not to have a look at that one, deemed it just a racing incident. Anyway, so freshman round 7, also in Spa, RC8 would take his second pole position in a row, taking pole position with Absolute in 2nd and Tonios in 3rd. But big news. Big. Jitsi Kev disqualified from qualifying after reversing back onto the track at Radion after having a spin up there. But we'll get on to Jitsi Kev in a second because his race was quite incredible. A good start from the front row in the race. There's been a massive crash at Radion. A safety car again on that one in the freshman league. I think we've had a safety car every single race now. I think Natty, is that right? Every single race we've had a lap.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so Tunturi having a spin. It looks like, from what we can deduce, basically, it looks like Tunturi's had a spin.
We couldn't come up with a definitive answer, could we, of what actually happened? Like we couldn't figure it out. There was no full-on evidence to find out what happened, but we believe Tunturi spun, and then it was just people coming up Eau Rouge and just being a blind, sort of coming over that blind crest, and then it was just car after car sort of hit in that sort of collision there.
Yeah, like we all just sat there for about, probably over half an hour trying to figure out what had actually happened. But we've come to this conclusion. If anyone else can tell us what's actually happened, I think we've watched about 4 different onboards about 17 times or something like that. If anyone has any more information about that crash, it would be greatly appreciated. Just let us know in the comments below. But it seems to be caused by Tunturi going wheel to wheel with Ace de Savo, which results in the initial spin, leaving everyone else behind, nowhere to go. And obviously, the cars being that close together, it kind of compounded the issue a lot more. So under the safety car, there was another crash with the game Delta catching out a lot of drivers at the top of Radion, including Tiger, who you were behind your teammate and got big damage. So what happened from your POV?
There's another one which I don't want to talk about. So some of these races stuff really, really frustrated me. Like I'm sure we'll get on to what happened to me later when we do the ratings, but it just came up Radion Eau Rouge, and then everyone had just stopped, and I was just following behind Robert. because we were under the safety car. Yeah, we were still under the safety car, and I was just following behind Robert after the pit stop. And then just suddenly I had to slam the anchors on, and I went flying into the background. It wasn't nothing he could do, because he also had to do the same thing, and I believe he picked up damage as well, either that or he just avoided it. But no, it was... And then straight afterwards, I also got the glitch where I had to slow down, but I didn't actually have to slow down, so then I also got awarded a 5-second penalty. And then I got a 5-second penalty for making contact under the safety car as well. So I got 10 seconds of penalties in the space of like 100 meters and wing damage. So I wasn't happy at that point. But yeah, anyway, that was the incident. Yeah.
And that would not be the end of the incident. Lap 17, a massive crash caused by Dazzo, who spun on the curve on the exit of Fania, causing Victor to go into the back of him. Didn't really have any time to respond to the spinning Renault. Nowhere for everyone else to go, and everyone was so bunched up after the safety car restart. The game pulled out a really weird safety car for some reason. I think someone spun at Pion, and the game's like, yep, that needs a safety car. But yeah, that caused a massive crash on lap 17 then. But we were having a conversation about this a couple of days ago, guys. The Freshman League, the problem with the crashes isn't necessarily something that the drivers are doing wrong. It's more that the things that are happening kind of get made worse because of the circumstances. So, for example, if Dazza hadn't spun straight after a safety car restart, that crash would not have been anywhere near as bad, because there wouldn't have been as many cars behind him, or so bunched up. The same with the with Radion. Like, if any car spins off at Radion on lap 1, there is going to be a massive crash, just because everyone, especially in the midfield, and it's because everyone's arriving at the same point very, very quickly. So yeah, not completely the fault of the drivers, but yeah, just need to try and cut out some of those mistakes. Anyway, so we're gonna kick straight off then with the Gavra. As the Gavra is a tiger, so named it a couple of episodes ago. So the Gavra then. So Williams, Baggy Breath, and GSY Bates qualified in 11th and 7th, but it would be a double DNF for the Williams boys. So they were 4th and 5th after lap 1, but then things went very, very bad very, very quickly. So our Baggy Breath had a massive amount of understeer into Stavelot, drove into the gravel and dropping out the points, then spun again almost immediately and manually retired. Bates was caught up in a massive crash on lap 17. So I've seen his onboard, and he had absolutely nowhere to go, nothing he could do. And yeah, that was unfortunate. We're going to be a double DNF for the two Williams boys. So what do you think we're going to give them from A star to G?
I like Natty. Go first.
It's unfortunate for Bates being caught up in that incident, and both were running in such a good position after that. I'm not sure. I feel like it's quite harsh giving them something like an F, but
Could get pair of E's.
Well, I think Bates was actually making progress, like up the field before the safety car had come out. But yeah, it's up to you guys. I mean, personally, I think because our Baggy Breath retired manually, and his was an unforced error, like nothing else really happened, he can't just run off the track, I'd be tempted to give our Baggy Breath an F, but I don't think I could give the same one to Bates. I'll go for like maybe a D.
And D and an F.
Yeah.
I'll agree.
All right, so
back that.
Haas, Tiger.
Yes, here we go.
and Robert Codfather. So
what a teammate.
Tiger would have his best qualifying of the season up in 5th, whilst Robert would qualify down in 16th.
Robert,
in the race, though, things would not go as well. Tiger down in 8th, and Robert with another DNF to his name in the freshman series. So, Tiger, you pitted under the first safety car and rude worded his race.
I don't want to talk about that.
He then received damage after the glitch and had to pit again after being taken out.
I also received 10 seconds of penalties, which I had to serve the first 5 in the pit lane.
He did also receive 10 seconds worth of time penalties, but did come back to finish in the points. So, Natty,
Oh no,
what do we...
you missed a vital piece of information there.
What vital
I had to
piece of
pit a second time because if you don't remember, Ace to Sabo span on the inside of Puhon and it came flying across, and I had nowhere to go and I hit into him, and I lost all of my wing. That was literally right before the crash at wherever that corner is. you know the big one. You know the big crash.
Yes,
that happened.
Crash.
Yeah, it was literally just before that happened.
Right. Okay. Cool.
So I had to pit again. I had to serve another other 5 seconds in the pit lane, and I got 2 wing damage, and then I finished in the point.
So, Natty, what are we giving our dear friend Tiger?
Hello.
I'm tempted by a B.
A B?
Yes.
The problem is...
but
Sorry, the only problem I have with a B is that he messed up his own race by pitting under the first safety car.
Yeah.
But I might have made it work if I didn't have all my issues.
But you did have the issues.
Yeah, but they weren't none of them were my fault.
I'm gonna say a B or a C.
Yes, Natty. I'm gonna back myself with a B.
Yeah, you don't get to decide your own grade.
Come on,
I'll go for a B. I think the recovery drive. Even though you messed up your own race, you got damaged.
The recovery
twice.
Drive. Oh. Twice damage, 10 seconds of penalties, finished in the points.
Oh wait, that is a brilliant idea you've just had to put the actual grades under each person's name. That is the big clever. Robert Codfather then had a relatively quiet race in the points for 5 laps, apart from reversing under the safety car before having a big spin at Radion. I put in capital letters out because he was very, very much out of the race. Because
Robert, man.
So another unforced error then from Robert Codfather has put himself out of the race. What are we thinking?
E.
It's got to be an E.
Sorry, Robert. But you pretty much had an average qualifying for you, and then you were up in the points, and then you had a big crash. So yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Robert. You're a great driver.
An E from me. So Racing Point, Tunturi and Ellison qualified in 6th and 17th.
The dream team.
Race though, with a DNF and 11th. Right. So Tunturi raced for 3 corners. So. That is a U.
No, because I also got a U for racing for about 4, so I think it's a U.
Well, I mean, you still have one thing on though, Tiger. You have raced for 1 more corner. At least on the opening lap. So Tunturi, that's going to be automatic U. I think Ellison,
U.
G.
Yeah. Sorry, Ellison. That crash on RC8 was horrific.
He was having a fairly quiet race in the.
I realized this makes me realize how much I hate the Racing Point team. To be honest, sorry guys, but I've had run-ins with both of you on several occasions, and it's annoyed me.
There is no bias on the podcast.
No, there isn't. No, we don't skirt around things here. Honesty is the best policy, they say.
This is why Tiger isn't a politician. So Tunturi got a U and Ellison on a G after that quite bad crash with RCA, which he has now picked up a race ban for. Anyway, moving on then to Renault, Daza and Vinja qualified in 14th and 10th, would finish with a DNF and 12th. So after a massive high for the Renault team in Silverstone, it's 0 points from the Belgian Grand Prix. Not been the nicest day for the Renault team. So Vinja would go up into 4th after the first safety car. Daza pitted on lap 1, found himself in 5th by lap 15. Daza then caught the curve on lap 17, spun on the curve, and caused an almighty crash, and then was out of the race more or less on the spot after the initial contact with GSY Bates's Williams. Vinci then had to pit with wing damage after that lap 17 crash onto fresh tyres, but couldn't get them to work or couldn't get the tyre advantage. A lot of the people around him also had the soft tyre on, and he was a bit too far behind after the safety car restart and would finish out of the points. So my thing with this is they were so far up the field, and then it went so horribly wrong. Only one car has got to the end of the race. The other one did spin by themselves, which was an unforced error, and that's put them out of the race. So for Daza, I think it's got to be an F. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can back an F.
And then for
Big F.
I think for Vinci, maybe
Where did he qualify?
he qualified in 10th and finished in 12th.
D E D
D?
a D/E
I'll back a
an
D.
ED
D. Yeah.
D?
a
Yeah.
D. Yeah,
Sure.
D.
Alright then, so Mercedes, Alex Gunnermack and Triple O qualified in 15th and 18th, finished in 7th and 9th. Very good day at the office for them. So
Brilliant
got
day.
some positive things to say now. Sorry, it's been quite a negative podcast. So far.
Heavens.
So both got caught up in a lap 1 crash. Very good races from both drivers to come back through the field to the points, avoiding the other big crashes and getting the strategy correct. I think a pair of Bs.
I was going to say a pair of Bs as well, mate.
Yeah.
Pair of
Yeah.
Bs? Alright, there we go. So a B and another B for the Mercedes.
Nice one.
So McLaren, it was just Brizzy today, so qualified in 8th. Why have I not put his race position in here? Oh, he finished in 5th. Sorry, yeah.
Malfunction. Qualified in 8th, finished in 5th.
Yeah, qualified 8th, finished in 5th. Yeah, so I'll go again from Brizzy. So on to McLaren then. So just Brizzy by himself will qualify in 8th and finish the race in 5th. Solid drive. Had a spin though after the first safety car restart at turn 1. That might bring down the grade to a C for me.
Yeah,
I can back the C. I like the C.
That's a C for Brizzy. Now then, Ferrari qualified
Jeez.
12th and 13th. Both Ferraris out by lap 4.
Oh, I feel like it's not a pair of U's, really.
Hang on. So both drivers were involved in the lap 1 incident. Sabo was out on the spot, like he was out of the race. So I think for Sabo that has to be a U.
U.
Yeah.
For Infamella, spun by himself at Radion after surviving the lap.
Still feel like it's a pair of U's.
You think a pair of U? I mean, a U is meant to be ungradable. Infamella did have like some racing laps.
Oh,
and
okay.
then spun by himself.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking E.
E.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I'd drop into an F because I still have that grudge against him for Abu Dhabi, for taking out the braking boards.
You have a grudge though, so natty.
Yeah. I'm back an E.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, I'll back an
E.
Love you, Infamella.
Stop letting your personal things interfere with the podcast. All right,
Hey,
so
you got to be non-biased. You got to be, it's all about the true ratings.
I'm just going to move on to Alpha Tauri with Ternios and Victor, who would qualify in 2nd and 4th, but would finish the race down in 13th and 11th, I believe. Both off to a poor start when Ternios managed to get past the Alfa Romeo of RC and up into 2nd place. Victor would then pit under the safety car and falls towards the back of the pack. Both drivers into 3rd and 4th by lap 13. But unfortunately, after the 2nd safety car, Victor came into the pits again and had nowhere to go when Daza spun on the curb by himself at Fania, causing damage for him and would finish outside of the points. But Tonios managed to pick up another podium. So solid drive from Tonios. for me, a performance worthy of a B, just another solid performance, but has still
I'll
gone
give B for
backwards.
Tonius.
Yes,
I would give B for Tonius because it was a good sort of initial start from him anyway, and he had a good quality as well.
And then for Victor, I wanna go for another B, to be honest with you, because he had he couldn't do anything. Like, he was still making like decent progress, I guess, but he couldn't do anything in that crash. So I think maybe a B or a C, maybe.
Yeah, I think maybe a C.
Okay, because still finished outside the point. So Alfa Romeo then, Ace D, Sabo, and RC8 qualified in 9th and 1st, finished the race in 4th and 6th.
Yeah, we're thinking too soon. It's thinking.
I mean, RC8 finished in 4th, and Ace Sabo finished in 6th.
RC8, where did RC8 qualified in 2nd though, didn't he? Yeah, but he had that. He had that incident.
No, RC8 was
Emerson.
RC8 was on pole, but he had a really, really bad start, and then had quite a quiet race. Well, both just had quite a quiet race, apart from Ace Sabo, who made a he made a mistake and
then he was assassinated at the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, I was about to go on to RC8, got assassinated.
I'm going to use the word assassinated because he genuinely was. I give RC8. He qualified on pole, didn't he? Yeah.
And he has gone back to 4th.
I think he would have been. I think he would have been higher up if he would have been higher up if he hadn't got taken out.
Okay, I can back a B then.
I would say B.
Sabo did finish in 9th, came back to 6th.
6th in the end, so he's increased. B again, maybe.
All right, yeah, giving out a lot of B's there apparently. So, finally, Red Bull Racing, Jutsu Kev and Absolute. So, Jutsu Kev disqualified from qualifying. Absolute up in 2nd, but Tiger. Jutsu Kev would win the race after starting in 19th, and Absolute would be in 2nd place at the end of the race. Jutsu Kev, like,
it's the freshman. I mean, what are we expecting really at this point? It's the freshman. I mean, hats off to RCA, but if it wasn't the freshman, I don't know whether it would have turned out in the same way.
Yeah.
No, RCA. Sorry, Jutsu Kev. Yeah. I meant Jutsu Kev. A-star performance. I think that just deserves.
Has to be easy, like straight.
Yeah, Absolute 11. What was he qualified in?
Started in 2nd, finished in 2nd. Kind of got outdone by his teammate on the strategy though, with the safety cars coming out. Jutsu Kev managed to jump in, but he absolutely was controlling the race. To be fair, after getting up into pole, getting up into the lead of the race on lap 1, but just didn't have the pace to get past his teammate. So I think maybe still, I feel like a B's a bit high. I still think it's an
A?
A performance.
But it isn't an A-star because he hasn't no, yeah. I get that.
He didn't win the race.
Since we have lost a Natty, I'm having to because he's getting his internet fixed at the moment, quickly. So while that's happening, I will fill in for his Premier Series. So I apologise to everyone if this just sounds terrible. But Jutsu Kev on pole, Oriol in 2nd, Pope in 3rd. That must have been in qualifying. And the top 2 drivers were on the softs. And remember, this is in Hungary. The Premier and Super League, both in Hungary. And to extent, it was pretty much a medium hard around that track. A softer hard, very difficult to sort of, very difficult one to work around in terms of the strategy.
Yeah, as I think a lot of the drivers in the Premier Series unfortunately found out.
Yeah. As the top 2 found out very quickly. Jutsu Kev and Oriol both starting on the softs. Clean start from the majority of drivers, but Guillotine had an incident and span at turn 1. Pope tried to go down the inside of Jetsi, but lost the rear in the exit. Dropped down to 10th. On lap 4, the guys on softs really did start to struggle. I do remember that from the commentary. Oriol and Jutsu Kev came in early off of those soft tyres, went on to the mediums. Definitely really were struggling. as there was a big battle for second between Jetsy, Natty, Beza, Pope, and Cryptek, as I believe it was Absolute 11 that was out leading at that point. As Beza loses the rear on the curb at turn 5, as he's put. Can I just say, Natty's wrote this out and he put Natty goes down the inside. Couldn't he have just said I went down the inside?
Yeah, but he likes to refer to himself in the third person, so I guess it's just how he's weird.
So
weird. That's
Natty
just
went down the inside, then Pope tried to get past Beza, but Cryptek tries to get past Pope. God, he's put this in a long-winded way, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Jesus. Pope then half spins.
I would not want to be marking Natty's English.
Met Boy goes round the outside of Pope, but then Pope and Cryptek, but then Cryptek fights back and Met Boy gets past. That was confusing. That was really confusing.
Natty, what have you done?
What is he wrote? What? Have you seen that paragraph? That's awful, you know.
I'm reading it now. This is why only Natty can read Natty's notes.
So, but Jetsy and a half spin at turn 5. Natty goes into second. Lap 20, cars crashed during the safety car. I like how he didn't put. Oh no, he's put it later. Apparently, there was cars crashed causing a safety car. I don't know which. He didn't put which cars crashed.
No, Cass Nuygens.
Oh, Cass! I see. Yes.
Oh my God.
Why didn't he put this? He doesn't put it in the right way.
You thought the plural of
Jetsy
cars
and Jutsikev pit out of the leaders. Jutsikev lost it in sector 2. And then here comes the funny bit, which we don't even need to look at the notes to read this. Cryptek crashed. I'm going to say this again. Cryptek crashed in the pit lane.
Which for some reason brought out a safety car.
Welcome, Codemasters. Yes, but Cryptek crashing in the pit lane into what was the support pole of the advertising board, fully slammed into the concrete pillar, out of the race. The Ferrari master plan is gone, and brought out a safety car. And then we have to talk about this too, Saint. Okay, Guillotine, you're in the limelight here. Okay. Guillotine,
this is not great.
Guillotine, no, this is not great. Guillotine, if you're watching, what the hell? Yeah, just man up. No, but I think he's got a race ban because of it. But he went off of the track, didn't he? And since because in the rules of F1, we'll just speak about this quickly. In the rules of F1, if you fall below the delta of what the safety car is running at, people are allowed to pass you. That's correct, isn't it? Yes.
No, if you go off track, if you go off track.
Well, if you go off track and you fall below the delta of what the safety car is, people are allowed to pass you. Even when people are running really slow into the safety car, you notice it'll say their delta is too low, you can pass them or whatever. It says that sometimes, right?
Yeah, when they're like stopped on track or something.
Yeah, or if they've gone off the track. Okay, Guillotine went off the track. People were allowed to pass him, but for some reason he's decided to overtake everyone and go back into the position he was before.
Well, he overtook everyone, went into like second or third place, and then backed off and hit Gav twice. I'm just saying, if you're gonna do something wrong, don't go off the track, hit the league owner, overtake nearly everyone under the safety car,
and then give multiple people 5-second penalties.
Hang on. Drop back, then hit the league owner again, then leave the race and go into the chat on live stream and say, "Oh yeah, I just overtook everybody under the safety car because I could." It's probably not the best way to get away with it. I am not.
Oh, like how he hit Gavra twice. That's not funny that he hit Gavra, but it's funny that he hit Gavra. Out of all of the people, it's Gavra. Out of all the people he could have chosen. But straight after that, there was another moment. Absolute 11 decided to spin the car off of a safety car restart. He did like a Shankster from Spain in the Super League. He span it off of like a safety car restart pretty much instantly. And unfortunately, it put Natty into the lead. And then Jutsikev tried him through the field on fresh softs, came from 11th to 6th, so he did really well there at the end, Jutsikev. Pope span on the exit of turn 2, retired the car. Met Boy overtook Oriole for the podium. Another third for Met Boy, can I just say? In the end, Natty won, Bezer in second, and Met Boy got his third of the season. Finally, we can go on to the ratings. God, that one took a while. Natty.
Yeah, Natty.
Just no.
What are you doing, man?
Williams had Guillotine and Ted was a stand-in for It's Julia. Ted obviously being from the academy. Quali 11th and 13th, raced DNF and 7th. So Ted actually did 13th to 7th in the end. I believe that's correct. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say that's
13th to 7th from Ted. That's a really good performance. Guillotine 11th to DNF. Guillotine, I'm sorry, but for what you did under the safety car, a massive, big, fat G, I think, has to go your way.
It shouldn't even be sorry. It should just be a G.
And Ted's 13th to 7th on his Premier Series debut. I think that deserves an A.
I'd go for an A. Right,
I think that deserves an A, personally. I know we didn't speak about what actually happened, but Ted, that was debut race. He had a clean race in general. And I think A for Ted, G for Guillotine. Renault, Kasnoigens and Alex Gunnar Mack, 7th and 17th in quali, 6th and 11th in the race. Both gaining up positions there. Cass spun, causing a safety car, but managed to recover really well. Oh yeah, Kasnoigens actually ended up in the gravel, didn't he? Which opened up that safety car. What do you think, Two Saints? So 7th to 6th for Kasnoigens and 17th to 11th for Alex Gunnar.
I think I'd go maybe for a pair of Bs. It would have been an A for Alex if he'd scored points.
Yeah, I'd say a pair of Bs as well.
Okay.
Getting through this nice and quickly. Mercedes. Black Country and Gavra. Black Country qualifying in 10th, Gavra qualifying in 14th. Black Country getting into the points, as he did qualify in the points, in 9th. Gavra making up 2 positions, getting into 12th. Gavra got caught in the safety car incident with Guillotine, as we mentioned. Black Country got damaged. Natty just put Black Country got damaged somehow. Nice one, Natty. And then had to pit. Recovered well into 9th place. So Black Country had damage. Gavra got hit twice. Got a 5. Did he get a 5-second penalty under the safety car? 10 seconds under the safety car. Yeah.
That's not really Gav's fault, though, is it?
I could just imagine an angry Italian of Gav, really. It's going to be quite funny. Just imagine, what are you doing?
Gav, if you do have a soundbite.
Gav, you have a clip of you getting angry at Guillotine. We want to hear it.
So
what do you think, Toussaint? Black Country made up 1 position, but he was already in the points on his quali. So I'd say
B.
B, yeah, B. Gav 14th to 12th, so made up positions, but didn't get points. I'd probably say I would have said B. I think C. Yeah, sorry, Gav.
I think a C because he also qualified outside of the points.
Yeah, C for Gavra.
Okay,
Alfa Romeo. Deadly Jason was on his own for this one in the Alfa Romeo. Qualified in 15th and finished in 10th, so we got points in the end. And I have to say, Deadly Jason, quiet race again. And have you noticed, Evan always mentions this. We always mention this, me and Evan, every time. Deadly Jason he's one of the quietest of the Premier Series drivers, but he always manages to just sneak into the points at the end of the races. I think he's at the lower end of the points, and he's had the lower end of the points throughout the season, but he always seems to have quiet races and just sneaks up into the point positions. I'd give him a B, personally. 15th to 10th points, I think a B.
I'm going to go for an A.
You think an A for him? I think to be fair, an A's. I think he's had a clean race. Like, he hasn't had much in terms of like contact or damage to other people or damage to himself. He's had a clean race. I think A. Yeah. What were you going to say?
Another just stealthy drive. He's like the 5th Navy SEALs or something of the Premier Series. Just gets in quietly, gets it done, and then leaves until next week. Alright, so that's Deadly Jason.
Deadly Jason, A. The Haas team. absolute 11. Qualified in 16th, but he had the spin at the start of the safety car. Finished in 14th. D
Right.
E.
The problem is he went from 6th to the lead of the race.
To the lead, and then
led
spun and
for
went to 14th.
so long, and then spun, which gave Natty the win.
Yeah. I think
So-
for just giving Natty the win, we have to give it a G.
Yeah, that is quite true.
No.
On a serious...
I'm tempted for a D. Because even though where he's finished, he had a good quality. He had a really good race up until that point near the end of the race where he span. But I think it's a D. I think I would have obviously given him a lot higher if he hadn't have span. He probably would have had an A star.
Right.
To be fair, he would have had an A star. But I think a D. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I'll go for that. Jutsi
Yeah,
Kev.
D. Jutsi Kev, Racing Point. He also has 2 freshman league drivers. Anyway. Qualified in 1st, finished in 5th.
Yeah.
Starting on softs, just immediately that deserves a G in Hungary. But recovered to a 6th place after pitting under the. But he's put putting there. He's put after putting. What, Natty? I'm gonna. He's after pitting under the safety car for fresh softs, so he managed to make the comeback. He went on to the fresh softs at the end, basically.
We do not advocate violence on the podcast.
No, we don't. 1st to 5th, I think C.
Yeah, I'd go for a C. Not out of the
C?
points. Natty, you have some explaining to do. What are
Natty,
these notes?
your notes are awful. Your notes are just terrible. They're just terrible. Sorry, can we just quickly? Can we just revert back up to the paragraph quickly?
Yeah.
But Beza loses the rear on the curb at turn 5. Natty goes down the inside. Popes tries to get past Beza, but Cryptek tries to get past Pope. But half spins. Metboy goes round the outside of Pope and Cryptek, but Cryptek fights back and gets past Metboy. Jetsy half spin at turn 5 into 2nd.
Natty, you've got about 5 cars like side by side at this point. One of them's going backwards. One of them's had like a half spin. I have no idea which one is in front, but somehow around Hungary, you managed to get 5 modern day Formula One cars going side by side. At
to be fair, that was actually an insane moment in the race. I do remember that, but the way you've described it here is god awful. Anyway, Red Bull, Metboy and Triple O. Now I've just taken over your section now, because you weren't here. Metboy and Triple O. Metboy qualified in 9th, Triple O qualified in 16th. Metboy finished in 3rd, and Triple O finished in 13th. Really good race from Metboy. Has he come back and just... Natty, really good race from Metboy. Made some great overtakes and a great strategy into the safety car, and a quiet race from Triple O.
They both improved. I think for Metboy,
I think Metboy deserves an A, A star, or A or an A star. I think A star because he's going to manage to get himself from the lower end of the points onto a podium, 9th to 3rd.
But he was one of the drivers who pitted onto those soft tyres, wasn't he? And he couldn't get past. He couldn't get past Besser in the Alpha Tauri.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe an A then, because he still couldn't get.
According to Natty, he had a great strategy.
Yeah, but according to Natty, you can go 5 wide around the Hungaroring. So.
No, they actually did. To be fair, if you go watch back, they pretty much
5 wide.
Just after the chicane at the back end of the track, the tight one.
How?
No, trust me, to say it happened. Someone ran wide, and then there was just a massive moment. Me and Evan were like screaming at that point. I think we'll go A for Metboy, Triple O 6th to 13th. I think it's C.
Yeah.
And he's gained positions, but he's not in the points.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can back
C.
C then. Natty.
C.
Yeah.
Natty? No, we don't care about Natty at this point. McLaren, Jetsy and Oriole. Jetsy qualified in 4th. Oriole qualified in 2nd. Jetsy finished the race in 5th. Oriole finished the race in 4th. So they both went backwards, but not by a huge amount. Personally, I think a pair of C's.
But yeah, Oriole did also choose the wrong strategy and was on
that
those
a G then.
And Oriol also had fresh tires in the race and couldn't make it work. Yeah, I'd go for Pierro6.
Pierro6?
Yeah.
Pierro6
Yeah.
isn't.
Okay.
Alpha Tauri.
Oh yeah, Natty actually did put Oriol struggled on the soft side. I didn't even read that. Sorry, Natty. AlphaTauri, Beza and Pope. Beza qualified in 5th. Pope qualified in 3rd. Beza finished the race in 2nd. Pope finished with a dump.
Love that.
I think for Pope it has to be in... Wait, hang on, let's see. Pope spun at the exit of turn 2 and retired, apparently. Don't know when it was in the race. Natty hasn't put that down.
He didn't spin it. Let's say he spun at turn 3, didn't he? And then there's like a man.
Just saying, remember, you got all the corner numbers completely wrong the last time we spoke about Hungary.
Did we? Did I?
Yeah. So you know turn 2? Turn 2 is at the end of the 2nd DRS zone, mate.
Yeah. That's what I said.
No, you said that was turn 3.
No, I said that was turn 2.
You said the little kink after the first corner was turn 2.
No, I said the little kink going into turns 4 and 5. Yeah.
Anyway, Pope, what do you think?
D. Wasn't that bad, but it was the manual retirement.
Yeah.
D. Okay, I can back a D. Beza, 5th to 2nd. Now, I was going to say an A, but we can't. If Beza's gone from 5th to 2nd and Meppo's gone from 9th to 4th, we can't give them both A's.
I don't see why not. You still got on the podium and was on the right
but Meppo's
strategy.
made up more positions.
Yeah, but Metboy had soft tyres for the last 10 laps.
Okay, A for Beza then.
Yeah.
And finally, the worst team on the grid, Ferrari. Natty and Cryptech. Natty qualified in 8th. Unfortunately, finished with a win. Cryptech qualified in 12th and crashed into the pit lane.
I think we're going to go for like some very different scores here. I think Natty. As much as I hate to do it, like
it's going to have to be an A star. Yeah. It's A star for him.
As much as I hate to do it, I can't fault the right. Cryptech, on the other hand, is getting a swift F.
I think it's
okay.
Lap 1, first corner before you die. Braked early as Tim wasn't expecting it. Went into the back of him, but mostly clean on the first few opening laps, and later on, Antelope had a bit of a freak crash, which I think we all deemed it down to being a wheel disconnect. Then he went into the wall, causing a virtual safety car. As throughout the race, there was quite a few spins from Jojo Power and Atom, and there was Atom ran wide at one point during one of his spins and caused a virtual safety car, which was weird. But for some reason, guys, it doesn't seem like the Super League likes virtual, normal, full safety cars. We always seem to have virtual safety cars. Bearing in mind that we just ignore Spain as an obsolete because Spain was just. Go on.
Can I just say, the one time we have a safety car in the Super League, it comes out to like mess up my race. The only time we've had a safety car in the Super League this entire season has been only to mess up my race. So Codemasters, you know what? Rude word.
Moving on. Then under the VSC, Jojo Power crashed. And then retired out of the race, which just kept the VSC out. Wasn't deemed a safety car for both of the retirements that were in quite dangerous positions. But anyway, and for then on, it's clean racing for everyone, with Dutchy getting the win bars in 2nd and Pierro getting 3rd there. I'll just run through this as well. Why not? Renault, Techers, and Thunder, the Williams of the Super League.
You really got to stop calling them that.
Techers, no, I'm going to keep on calling them that. Techers qualified in 15th. Thunder qualified in 10th. Techers finished in 14th. Thunder finished just outside the points by 5/10. Thunder, 5/10 out of your first point in the Super League by finishing in 11th. Thunder, despite starting in the points, had a good opportunity to score, but bottled it. And Tekka's finished in 12th, had a quiet race. Finished ahead of Tim, who had many spins. What do you think, guys? Tekka's 15th to 14th. Average race, C.
Well, yeah, pair of
D.
C. Pair of C's.
C's?
Didn't really. Well, I mean, Thunder's gone backwards and Tekka's has gone forwards. So it feels unfair to give them both the same grade.
Give Tekka's a C and Thunder a D.
Thunder's crime is more heinous because he started in the points and finished in 11th.
I'd say Tekka's a C, Thunder a D.
Yeah, okay, C and a D.
Yeah, okay.
Next.
Cool. Red Bull, before you die, 14th qualified, finished in 10th. Aside from a small collision on lap 1 with Tim, had better pace than the cars around him, managed to stay out of trouble and finish in the points. Well done, is what 2 cents put there. Natty, what do you think, mate?
Good. It was a good race, obviously, from him. Got a point in the end. I'm gonna say B, maybe, or something, B or a C.
What do you think, 2 cents?
I can go back and B.
B?
B.
Okay, B it is then for the Red Bull team. And for Before You Die, Williams. Shankster and Antilopen. Shankster, 7th to 13th, qualified in 7th, finished in 13th. Antilopen, qualified in 13th, finished with a dump after he crashed.
Shankster had good pace in qualifying, definitely. But yeah, something just didn't. Well, he crashed by himself, didn't he? So
yeah,
gotta take it down.
Shanks has gone quite far back.
Maybe a D, or an E.
What, Nanny? What do you think?
Yeah, I can back that.
D.
D.
Yeah.
D. Okay. Antilopen.
13th to dump.
Disconnect. His wheel did disconnect though.
E.
Yeah, stick it on. McLaren.
Holland and Joe, and English drivers. Holland qualified in 6th, Joe qualified in 9th. Holland finished in 7th, Joe finished in 8th. So Holland went back 1, Joe went forward 1 in the race. Bear in mind, Joe had to pit on the first lap for damage. What's 2 cents? Both drivers having solid performances, getting the strategy right. Holland, good battle with Natty. Mid-race, Joe managed to get less penalties than the cars in front, so he finished in PF. Yeah, I remember Joe jumping up quite a lot because of the penalties. Also, Joe did get the damage at the beginning, so it was a good recovery drive in the end, actually. I'm tempted.
Maybe B for Holland.
I'm tempted for Holland. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Natty, what do you think?
Yeah, I can back that.
Cool.
B and an A. Haas! Jojo and the substitute Natty, unfortunately. Jojo qualified in 8th, Natty qualified in 17th because he didn't put in a lap time. Jojo, dump. Natty finished in 6th place, stole Thunder's last spot in the top 10. Jojo Power was going backwards in the race after spinning on lap 3. He had a lot of spins, Jojo Power, and hitting the same wall on the same corner as Antilopen. Natty, strong race. For a strong race for it. You were supposed to say controversial strategy there, is what you're supposed to say. I'm guessing so.
Strategy. Like,
yeah.
Opposite to everyone else.
Ah, never heard that saying before. using the tyres of good effect to come back through. The pack finished in 6th, bringing out home crucial points for the Haas. I've never heard that before, Toussaint. Never heard that be used.
I said it like the first 4 races in this Academy series. Never Ted started on the mediums.
Oh, I never clocked on. Jojo and Natty. Jojo 8th to dump.
Well, he only lasted 3 laps. Looking back, we gave Infinella and Eve for only lasting 3 laps. Oh no, hang on.
Jojo lasted quite far into the race.
Yeah,
but he was Jojo was spinning a lot of times, so he had many spins. Wasn't a great race for him.
Maybe an E is still in order, or maybe a D because he's got further into the race. I don't know.
I'd say an E because he was very far back. I think he was a lap down when he crashed.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Because we gave Shankster a D and he got to the end of the race.
Yeah, I'd say an E.
Natty.
Oh no, it's a replacement driver. We don't grade them. Anyway, moving on. Ferrari. 17th to 6th. It's going to have to be an A-star again, isn't it? Oh,
goodness sake, man.
God's sake.
Can we not race at Hungary anymore? Natty always does well.
You're welcome. No, keep it, please. Thank you.
Alright, Ferrari.
Mahrez and Don Majid. Mahrez had a really good race. Qualified in 4th, finished in 2nd. Don Majid, 16th. Qualified in 16th, finished in 12th. Mahrez was able to take advantage of the Pierro spin to hold track position till the end, 2nd in the race. Good battle with Pierro. Don making good progress through the field. It wasn't nice, but fell out due to penalties. Mahrez, what do we think? 4th to 2nd. I think that's an A.
Yeah.
Personally,
yeah.
A. Had a really strong race. Actually, one of his strongest races I've seen personally in Gavra. I mean, I know he had some really good ones in the academy, but Mahrez, I'd say an A. Don Rajib, 16th to 12th. He did lose out on penalties though in the end.
C, because of the penalties. Should have finished in the points.
C. Natty, what do you think?
Yeah.
Racing points, the pink Mercedes, Dan Schneider and Gregster. Gregster on a Superleague debut as well. Dan Schneider went from qualified in 3rd, Gregster qualified in 12th, Dan finished in 5th, Gregster finished in 10th. Dan had a quiet race, few overtakes throughout the race, finished in 2nd, down to after penalties, and also 2nd. No, you put 2nd. Finished 2 positions, down after penalties in VSC. Sorry, I read that wrong. It was a quiet race. Lots of battles in the opening. I think that's supposed to say Gregster. Yeah, Gregster had a lot of battles in the opening in his debut Super League race, gained 2 positions from his quality, but slowed down at the line. I think he was trying to let someone back past. I think there was an incident or something. Yeah.
But it didn't matter because he had less penalties.
He had penalties.
Still.
So Dan, 3rd to 5th. See?
C has gone backwards from the old grid slot.
See?
Gregster.
Super League B points, and it's a debut. I mean, come on, debut in the top league, and you get points. I mean, Merck, Atim, and me. So Atim and Toussaint. So Atim qualified in 5th, Toussaint qualified in 11th. Atim qualified 11th, Toussaint qualified in 6th. Sorry, I've just lost where I was. Atim finished the race in 15th, Toussaint finished the race in 4th. What are we thinking, guys? Oh, wait, hang on, no, but actually, I'll read out what happened. Tim had a difficult qualifying in 11th, picked up damage from a hit before you die, and had multiple spins, just didn't look comfortable out there in that race. A quiet race. Getting past Dan in the 1st stint, having a short battle with Pierro, managed to pull away onto the 2nd stint and finish in 4th. Atim, he really struggled out there.
Also has gone backwards from the old grid slot.
E?
Yes. Sorry,
E,
Tim.
we love you. Toussaint, Natty, I'm going to ask you because 2 cents out loud agreed himself. 4th to 6th. No, sorry, 6th to 4th. That's what I meant. 6th to 4th.
To the jukebox there.
6th to 6th to 4th, Natty.
B.
B. I can go with B.
Okay.
I can give him a B. Yeah, because you've gone up on your position, but not in the podium. If it was a podium, I would have given you an A. Alpha Tauri, the final team before we get on to Gran Turismo Sport. Alpha Tauri, Playducci and Pierro. Playducci qualified in 1st. Pierro qualified in 2nd. Playducci won the race from 1st. Pierro dropped down a position after he had his spin. Ducci, a quiet race pretty much throughout the entire thing. Pierro's strong quali. Couldn't get past his teammate in the first few laps, but did have that spin. Lost out the position to Dan Schneider, but managed to come round and finish in 3rd in the end after a strong comeback. Natty, Playducci, 1st to 1st.
Yeah. A.
Toussaint, Pierro, 2nd to 3rd. Oh, sorry, carry on, Toussaint.
Dutchy, I was going to say a star. Like, he basically had the perfect race. Pole, led every lap. Nothing else he really could have done.
He does that. He does that most of the time anyway. Especially in GT.
Because he's a very good driver.
Okay, fine, A star for him then. There you go, Dutchy. Happy. Anyway, Pierro.
I'm sure he listens to this.
He does. I know he does. Pierro, 2nd to 3rd. He did have that spin. B. I think he started a very decent race, very good quality. He had bags of pace. He did make the comeback. I mean, you could go A because he had a really good comeback after his spin.
Yeah, but then he only dropped behind me and Dan Schneider at that point, though. He did have the gap. No, it's not an A performance of you because we've given people less grace for going backwards on their grid position.
So you think it's a B?
Yeah, I'd say.
Okay, B.
He still finished on the podium, but has gone backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's it. That is F1 done. And now I'm going to hand over to my lovely other podcast administrator, also known as the GT Sport administrator, Nathaniel G, the 2-time A-star man, who's going to tell you about GT Sport.
Round 5 of the GT Sport League was at Monza, and that was a quick summary of the race. We had a monumental battle for the lead for pretty much the entire 60 minutes. It was 5 cars at one point fighting for the lead. That soon dropped down to 3 cars fighting for the lead for pretty much the entire race. Many battles throughout the entire field. There was a big battle for 4th and many other stuff. But I'm going to do this by team then. So starting with the Wolves racing team. I can get my words out. Wolfie and Daniel Gardenzi qualified in 12th and 9th, finished in 10th and 12th. Both had a pretty clean race towards the back of the field, and an impressive first drive from Daniel, his first race in the GT Sport League. I remember Wolfie having a few battles with his teammate, a few battles with Ted as well, and improved from his quali position. I'm tempted to give him a B, possibly.
Who, Wolfie or Dan?
Wolfie.
Yeah, I could go with a B.
I mean, you've got to remember, this is different to F1 because you can't fall outside of the points. You're always going to get points. So you're going to think about he's only gained 2 positions. C?
C, yeah.
Yeah.
C?
Yeah, got to give
Daniel qualified in 9th, finished in 12th. He's done okay. I think for his first race, he's done decently, especially in quali. But I think he maybe struggled with the 60-minute mark in terms of that first race. Yeah.
Pair of C's. Spinala.
So the Spinala racing team, Math Gamer, was the only driver currently in for his team. Qualified in 7th and finished down in 11th. Had a crash at Ascari on the opening lap. Lost him a lot of time and had to pit for damage, and then just kind of had a quiet race towards the end. Couldn't really make up the time he lost throughout the race.
I personally give it a D because I think he's had a good quali, But I think that crash that he's made has really put him in a bad position, especially put him pretty much towards the back of the grid there.
Yeah, and it's his own fault as well. No one went into him, so.
Yeah, I think it's a D.
RNG.
So the RNG racers, RNG couldn't make that race, so it's just Scouting Ninja qualified.
The
qualified in
RNG
11th.
races with no RNG.
Qualified in 11th, finished down in 10th. Had a quiet race, battled with Wolfie and Math Gamer towards the back of the field for a little bit, and pretty much another quiet race from him. And improved on his quali, C maybe?
B.
C.
C. Yeah, okay, fine.
C?
Yeah, C. Yeah, C.
C.
So onto the Marling Racing, and Finn and Ferky the Viper, the two drivers. Finn qualified in 8th, Ferky in 9th, and both finished in 6th and 7th. It was a really good start from Ferky, his second good start in a row. And at one point, Finn was winning the race and fighting up front in the opening 20 minutes with a great battle. And also had a great battle towards the end, big battle for 4th with Tiger and Woody. I'm tempted to give Finn an A or a B,
Really?
potentially.
What happened to him in the race? Because he like you said, he was leading the race, and he fell back to 7th.
Yeah, I think he just
Oh,
dropped
6th
off
even.
the lead and then unable to catch back up. So I'm thinking maybe a B.
Okay, I can back a B.
Yeah, I come back a B as well.
Cool. Ferky?
And then Ferky had another quietish race. He did get off to a good start. I think he was in 4th or 5th on the opening
See?
lap, but then couldn't keep the pace for the whole race.
Maybe a C then? He's not as close to his teammate, maybe.
Yeah. So C for Ferky. And then moving on to Dusty Racing, Epic and Ted qualified in 4th and 5th and finished in 1st and 8th. The quiet race from Ted got damaged halfway through the race. I didn't see what happened. Epic, though, had a great battle for the lead for pretty much most of the race and ended up winning by 0.086 seconds.
No, I'm just responding to Gav, sorry.
Starting with Ted.
Ted Wood, he qualified 5th to 8th. I mean, I had a collision with him at turn 1. So, I mean, it's not necessarily the reason why I fell back a bit wasn't his fault. I'm tempted to give him a C. I think he had a good quality. It was one of his better qualities throughout the season.
Yeah.
I think I'd give him a C personally.
Fair enough. I can back a C.
And Epic.
A.
A?
I think
A?
Yeah, has to
Yeah.
be A. 4th to 1st.
A.
Right, BDE.
The BDE, Dutchy and Woody qualified. Dutchy qualified in 3rd, finished in 3rd. Woody qualified in 6th and finished in 5th. Woody having a great battle for 4th towards the end of the race. Dutchy also had a great monumental battle for the lead, but lost out on the penultimate lap with a collision with Epic down at Ascari.
I think for Dutch, well, I just for being involved in that battle, like, I mean, yeah, I think for Woody as well, has gone forward in the race, but not on the podium. And
Woody, 6th to 4th. I think I'd give him a B.
yeah, B, fair enough.
B for Woody. It's probably one of
Dutchy-
his best performance. Probably best performance of the season.
Right,
Dutchy.
A, final team.
A.
Yeah.
Yeah. A. We've got plenty of time.
Okay, and then quickly moving on to the BCMR racing team, Two Cent and Tiger qualified in 2nd and 1st and finished in 2nd and 4th. Tiger
Fifth.
having a 5th, sorry,
5th.
and collision between Tiger and Two Cent on the opening lap. A good recovery drive though, back up into 5th with that great battle with Woody and Finn. Two Saint having that monumental battle as well for the lead, going 3 wide into turn 1 with Epic and Dutchy at one point.
Yeah. Actually, me and Dutch had a conversation about that before. We were like, if we end up going 3 wide into turn 1 again, it will probably not end well. But it did end better than I expected, so there you go.
Well, A. I'm gonna say an A for Toussaint.
I'll give him an A, yeah.
No, I hit my
Definitely an A.
teammate. That's like a G.
Oh, yeah, he did hit me. Yeah.
So what? B.
I'll still give you an
B,
A.
maybe.
So I won't. I'm not allowed to grade myself, so I'll be quiet.
A or a B?
B.
All right.
Right. And
Tick.
then Tigra.
A. Easy.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So that then brings to an end episode 19 of
Woo!
the Gavra Racing Podcast. Sorry you couldn't get this one out to you live, guys. Hopefully next week's one will be live. Hopefully I'll still have the intro and outro music in there, so you'll still have all of that goodness. Thank you, Carl H, again for the amazing stuff. If you would like to be involved in the podcast in an interview the same way Pierro was a few minutes ago, once again, just let either one of us know, and they'll filter it through and we'll get you on as soon as possible. The things you can use to contact us, i.e. Discord, Instagram, and PS messages, are all in the description down below. But thank you again to all of the drivers who raced this week across Project Cars 2, F1, and Gran Turismo Sport. And we're going to see you again next week, guys. Goodbye.
Adios.
Goodbye.